Okay, here's today's math lesson, Module 5, Lesson 17. By the end of today, you'll be able to say, I can practice placing various fractions on the number line. The materials that you need for today's lesson are page 73 and 75 from your workbook and your pencil. You don't really need your whiteboard supplies because it's a little bit of a review today. So what we're going to do is go ahead and start by placing these fractions on a number line. So what we did before was that we just labeled the number line in order. Essentially, we're going to do the same thing, but now they're giving us fractions, multiple fractions that they want us to make sure that we put on that number line. So I'm going to start by looking at the fractions that I have. I have 2 over 2. Well, I know I'm going to go ahead and draw the pictures that I drew yesterday. Okay. I'm going to draw a circle broken into 2 pieces. I have 2 pieces. Okay. I broke it into 2 pieces because my number on bottom is 2. I have 2 pieces total. 1, 2. So I have 1 whole. So when I start my number line, now if you really wanted to, you could do this on your whiteboard, but I would rather just have you watch so you know what to do. I know I'm going to start at 1. Now I'm going to look at my biggest fraction, 8 over 2, or 8 halves. Right now I have 1 whole, which has 2 pieces. So I'm going to keep drawing wholes broken into halves until I get to 8 pieces. Right now I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to get 8 halves, I have 4 whole circles. So the end point on my number line needs to be 4 wholes. Now I can go ahead and finish my number line. I start at 1 and I end at 4, so I know that in there I need a 2, and I need a 3. Okay, now we already figured out that 2 halves was the same thing as 1 whole. So I'm going to label this 1 whole, 2 halves. And we already figured out 8 halves was the same thing as 4 wholes. 8 halves. Not right now. Thank you.
Hey, that's...
The next thing we want to do is find 5 halves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break each of these in half, break that one in half, break that one in half, and break that one in half. And I'm going to go ahead and count. So we're not going to label all the fractions this time. I'm just going to count. Here is 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to label this 5 halves. Next, I'm looking for 7 halves, so I'm going to keep counting. 5 halves, 6 halves, 7 halves, and label that line 7 halves. So we have placed those 4 fractions on the number line. Now you can go ahead and get out your problem set, and we have a few that we're going to do all together. So it says, this is page, I want to say 73. Yes, page 73. On page 73, make sure you have your name. While you're writing your name, I'm going to read number 1. Locate and label the following fractions on the number line. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to go ahead first is realize that these are broken into sixths. All of those numbers have a 6 on the bottom. So I know that each one of these pieces has to be broken into 6. To break into sixths, first I break in half and then into thirds. So same on this one, break it in half and then into thirds. Break it in half and then into thirds. Now my whole number line is broken into sixths. I'm going to start with 0 sixths. I know 0 sixths is right at the 0. 0 sixths. And then I'm going to count to find 6 sixths. And actually what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to erase this because the way they have the fractions set up, I'm going to label it right on the bottom so it's easier. 0 sixths. So I've done that one. Now I'm looking for 6 sixths, so I'm going to count. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. So 6 sixths, I'm going to go ahead and label, which is 1 whole. Next is 12 sixths, so I'm going to keep counting. I'm at 6, 7 sixths, 8 sixths, 9 sixths, 10 sixths, 11 sixths, 12 sixths. I've done that one. Now is 3 sixths, so I'm going to go back over here, start at 0. 1, 2, 3. And there would be 3 sixths. Last is 9 sixths. I'm actually going to start at the 6 and count up. 6, 7, 8, 9. And here is 9 sixths. And now I have labeled all of those fractions on the number line. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Locate and label the following fractions on the number line. So we can see that all of these numbers have a 4 on the bottom, which means we need to break our number line into fourths. So I'm going to break it in half and break it in half again. Break it in half, break it in half again, break it in half, break it in half again. Okay, so now I need to figure out, it doesn't start at 0, so I need to figure out what 1 equals. Okay, well, if I'm doing fourths, so I'm going to draw it over here. If I have a shape broken into fourths, to get 1 whole, I need 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So right here is 4 fourths. I'm going to label my 1 whole 4 fourths. So that's where 1 whole starts. Now, first I'm going to look at 8 fourths. So I'm going to start at 4 and count up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And right here at 2 wholes is 8 fourths. And that's done. Next is 6 fourths. So I'm going to go back to 4 and count. 4, 5, 6. 6 fourths. Don't play with that. 6 fourths is done. Next is 12 fourths. I know that's bigger than 8, so I'm going to start at my 8 and count up. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 fourths is really the same thing as 3 wholes. And last is 16 fourths. So I'm going to start at 12 and count up. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16/4, which is really the same as 4 wholes. And now we've labeled those fractions on the number line. Okay, I've got one last one, number 3, doing the same thing. It's starting at 2 wholes. And we can see by all our fractions have a 3 at the bottom, so we're going to break it into 3s. So over here on the side, I'm going to draw 2 wholes, broken into thirds. Remember, I do my Y shape. And I have 2 of them broken into thirds. Let's figure out what number goes on top. Count our pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, 6 thirds is going to be my start point. 6 thirds. And that one is done. So because it's broken into thirds, I need to break up each number. So between 2 and 3, I break it into thirds. Between 3 and 4, I break it into thirds. Between 4 and 5, I break it into thirds. And between 5 and 6, I break it into thirds. So our first one is going to be 18 thirds. We're going to start at 6 and count up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
That's it.
18 thirds, which is the same as 6 wholes. And that one is done.
And now?
Next is 14 thirds. So we're going to count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 thirds, which is almost 5 wholes.
Mom, look at the poo-poo.
Yes, thank you. And 14 thirds is done. Next is 9 thirds, so we're going to count starting at 6. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 thirds, which is the same as 3 wholes. And that one is done. And last is 11 thirds. I'm going to start at 9 because I know it's bigger than 9. 9, 10, 11. And here is 11 thirds. Now, as always, you could just go and label each single piece, but this is practicing how to do it without labeling all the pieces. It's practicing you trying to find the correct spot for each of those fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and switch us over to homework. Homework is page 75. On page 75, write your name. On page 75, circle 1, 2, and 3. That is going to be your homework. It is the same thing that we just did. So first you have to figure out what your starting fraction is. Break it into your number line into pieces, and then go ahead and label your fractions. I am going to start our 10-minute timer. So in that 10 minutes, get as much done as you can. After 10 minutes, go ahead and put it down. Switch to Zearn, and make sure you're caught up to lesson 17 on Zearn. Enjoy! Okay, thank you for hanging in there with me on getting that finished. I know my kids have been talking a lot in the background of these videos, so thanks for bearing with us. Go ahead and switch to Zern, finish lesson 17, and that's it for math today.